Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Just thought I'd return to you for this album review for Dua Lipa's new record, Radical Optimism, that I got a chance to listen to for this 11-track record. I only wanted to listen to the 11 songs. I didn't care for the bonus tracks, personally. It's not that I hated them, it's just certain ones I just don't really care for, but if I do happen to listen to it, I'll let you know if I do a review for that. But still, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for all 11 songs for this 36.5 minute album, and let you know my thoughts on this album overall for her newest record. So let's dive into this album review. Now, pretty much, I think this is her third studio album, and off the bat, it starts with End of an Era. It's an interesting pop song. It's not one of my favorites, but it's pretty good in its own way. I think the melody had something going for it, and her vocals sounded pretty good for what it went for. So this is a 4.75 out of 5 for the first track. I didn't hate this, but there's some execution moments that I don't know if it quite landed or not with the execution and all that of the song, but it's still fine. Houdini was a favorite of mine when it came out. It came out back in November, and it's still a bop to jam out to, to just dance to mostly. But pretty much, I think Dua Lipa had good vocals on this track, and she made it work with the dance, funk, pop stuff, disco-wise stuff, but it still worked. So this is a pretty interesting track and very catchy too. 5 out of 5. Training Season's another favorite of mine. The shorter version I didn't really necessarily like. I didn't hate the shorter version. It's still pretty good, despite some of the track being cut out for its what it could have been. Because the original song for the longer version is like 4 minutes and 55 seconds. But that was probably my favorite version. This one was still pretty good, but did have some moments where I didn't know if I liked it. But still, pretty good song. 5 out of 5. These Walls is pretty good in its own way. It's not one of my favorites, but it's fine for what it is. So this is a 4.75 out of 5. Dua Lipa made her vocals work from time to time, but there's some execution moments in the track that I personally feel could have done a little better. But it's just the way Dua Lipa was singing it from time to time. There's some moments where it's good and so-so, in a way. What You Doing is a pretty good song in its own way as well. I think it's good for what it went for. So this is another 4.75 out of 5 for this track. I think she made it work with her vocals from time to time, but there are some execution moments with her vocals that I don't know if I could get on board with, but still pretty good song in its own way. 4.75 out of 5. French Exit is probably a favorite of mine. I really like the melody. I like how Dua Lipa's singing the track too. It sounds pretty good. So, pretty interesting song to get through the first half of the record. The first 6 songs are pretty good in their own way. There's still some favorites that I like from the first half. A couple favorites, but still pretty strong. 5 out of 5 for French Exit. I do like the lyrics. The lyrical writing is pretty good, and just the way Dua Lipa singing the track sounds pretty good. So this is a strong 5 out of 5. Illusion was the third single for this record, and at first I thought it was a little annoying with the repetitious illusion lyrics she was singing, where you think I'm gonna fall for an illusion, but she repetitively says it a few times with the melody sounding repetitive too, but it's still a catchy track. I still like it, but I'd give this a 5 out of 5 as of now because it is pretty catchy, and I do dig the melody and how she's singing the track from time to time. Falling Forever is another strong track in my opinion. Really enjoyed this song for how it sounded, and I'd give this a 5 out of 5 as well. Anything for Love is a 4.75 out of 5 for me. I didn't hate this track. It was short for what it went for 2 minutes and 21 seconds. You're not in for much of a track. It's good vocals from Dua Lipa, but there's some moments where I felt a little disconnect for how shortened the song was from certain moments, but still strong track. And Falling Forever was a favorite of mine because of her vocal range in that track. Now to go on to Maria. This one is a pretty good song in its own way. Not my favorite, but it sounds alright for what it goes for. So this is a 4.75 out of 5. I dig this song, but there's some execution moments where I feel it could have done a little better, but still, pretty good song. Happy for You is the best closing track that I've listened to. It's a nice closing track to end this record overall. And I think Dua Lipa made her vocals work for this track, and the harmonizing in this song sounds pretty nice and beautiful for what it goes for. So this is a 5 out of 5. Sorry about the background noise. That's my sister's dog barking. Pretty much overall, I think Dua Lipa Radical Optimism was a pretty strong record for what it went for. I am so sorry about the background noise. I think this record is probably a favorite of mine out of the other 2 albums she released. The last record, Future Nostalgia, was a favorite of mine, but this one beats it, basically, to a pretty good score that I'm going to give it. So for a score for me, I'm giving Dua Lipa Radical Optimism an 8.5 out of 10. Pretty strong record. Definitely recommend checking out this pop disco album for sure to see what you think of it. There are some execution flaws with certain tracks, but overall, this record did impress me for how it sounded for the 11 songs and 36.5-minute runtime. But I still think Dua Lipa impressed me with this record overall. So 8.5 out of 10 for Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. Thank you for watching this album review today.